所以有时候也会请国内比较优秀的企业，然后来介绍一下经验呀，或者来当 speaker。对对。
那你们也属于这个联合国的一个？
对，我们就是联合国秘书处下面专门负责贸易促进发展的一个机构。对，就跟什么 ITU 啊、UNDP 啊、UNIDO 一样的性质。我方便拿一个您的名片吗？好的，谢谢谢谢。好。
然后如果那个来，我们就要不就等他会后，
9点钟才开始啊。
就专业开始，9点就不到班就
定点平时。
OK， 好，班就不所以就不用了。
宜都是不是来了有人挺多的，好像有个十几个人的代表团。
我们分好几个团，我们有个展团，因为我们在这不是有展台嘛。
啊，展
团大概有10个人左右。
10个人。
然后我们那个总经理来了嘛，也有一个，他那个团不多，大概4、5个人。然后我们还在这办了一个，就是昨天我们办的那个 GTI 的会，我们是4个人。
是。
差不多吧，就这些人。
等于它是分成不同的那个。
对，
不同的任务了。
对啊，还有1、2个就是专门来参加 ITU 的一些。
这些内容安排的很丰富，
是吧？
我们俩
是。哎呀，不容易，可费劲了。
就是准备那可以平常的，我这是个极简版。
那个 group photo
在里面都那个，
很麻烦了，而且包括你们这还好，我们那个要是没来人也很麻烦，其实挺紧张的。我们说，因为在国外我们也不能确定，
Really? Why not? Changes.
反正让你让中间嘛，对，不是 take a good photo 都在 break。我也让你知道。你也上。对。3, 2, 1. Okay. Maybe standing in front of a bit. Yeah. 脸上有字。对，脸上有字。要不不行，这脸上有熊。端上一点。行了吗？可以。OK。
开始吧。
那可以开始吧。
Okay, it's time. Let's get started. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning, everyone. I'm Lin Ziqiang from the Data and Technical Support Center of Cyberspace Administration of China. Welcome to the VC's Plus 420 Forum, hosted by the Chinese Academy of Cyberspace Study, focusing on strengthening digital governance and international cooperation of an inclusive digital future. We have convened global representatives from governments, international organizations, enterprise, and think tanks to deliberate two critical topics: application and challenges of emerging technologies in building an information society, global digital governance mechanisms, and international cooperation. Our goal is to collective advanced capacity building in digital governance, promote AI 5G adoption, and foster global digital cooperation. Now, let's get started. First, I'm delighted to invite Mr. Bai Jiang, representative of the forum organizer, and Deputy Director General of Chinese Academy of Cyberspace Study, to deliver opening remarks.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It's both an honor and a pleasure to gather with you in Geneva, the city of peace. On behalf of Chinese Academy of Cyberspace Studies, I warmly welcome all participants to this WISIS Plus 20 high-level event forum. Our discussions will focus on strengthening digital governance and international cooperation for a inclusive digital future. The internet is a shared home of all of humanity. It's the common responsibility of the international community to make this home cleaner, safer, and more prosperous. As this process marks a significant milestone from the perspective of a think tank, I would like to share some observations on how to strengthen digital governance and international cooperations. First, we should seize the opportunities presented by AI to advance high-quality development of the information society. We must proactively embrace this historical opportunity, continue to deepen the integration of AI with real-world applications, and fully unleash its potential to empower economic and social progress, so as to jointly build a smarter, more efficient, and brighter future for humanity. Second, we should stay committed to innovation and openness to ensure digital dividends are enjoyed by all humanity. China is actively implementing the Global AI Governance Initiative, providing more public goods to the international community. By translating divisions through openness, we advocate for global sharing of air research resources. By narrowing the digital divide, we can enable all countries to share in the dividends of digital progress and work together to build an inclusive, equitable, and sustainable digital future. Third, we should enhance mutual trust, dialogue, and exchange to jointly address security risks and challenges, so as to maintain a peaceful, secure, open, cooperative, and orderly cyberspace. Fourth, we should encourage active participation from all parties and work together to build a global digital governance system. In the face of growing digital divides, lacking essential frameworks and fragmented governance, we shall strengthen international cooperation and advocate multilateral and multi-party participation in global digital governance. We call on governments, international organizations, businesses, academia, and social organizations around the world to join and engage in the global digital governance agenda and promote building open, fair, and efficient governance mechanism. Chinese Academia of Cyberspace Studies, under the leadership of Cyberspace Administration of China, is a national level think tank specialized on cyberspace affairs. We are much willing to develop exchanges and cooperation with international organizations, global research institutes, enterprise, etc. in the inter-sector. At the 2025 World Internet Conference Wuzhen Summit, Chinese Academy of Cyberspace Studies will host a filmer and release papers contributed from global think tanks on joint build a community with a shared future in cyberspace. We sincerely invited all the friends to participate and engage in discussion On global digital development and cooperation, we will release the 9th annual World Internet Development Report, presenting the latest achievements on global internet development and governance. As Carl Spittler, the Swiss Nobel laureate in literature, once said, "There's no greater happiness they have in friends who share the same breath and destiny with oneself." Together, let's join hands to promote innovative, secure, and inclusive development in cyberspace, jointly promote the building a community with a shared future in cyberspace, and stride confidently towards a bright digital future. To conclude, I wish the forum a great success. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bai. Let's move to the next session. Keynote speech. We have previously consulted with experts and various institutions to determine these two topics for discussion. Kindly note that each guest's speech time shall be within 6 minutes. The first topic is application and challenges of emerging technologies in building the information society. It's our great honor to welcome Dr. Frank Scurry, Vice Chair of the World Internet Conference, former Director General of WIPO, to deliver a keynote speech. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lin Jing Chang. Ladies and gentlemen, very good morning to you all. It's a great pleasure to be here, and I'd like to thank the Chinese Academy of Cyberspace Studies for this opportunity to speak. Mr. Bai Zhang has set out a number of principles for governance to which I wholly subscribe. I'm going to speak about two aspects of governance, two challenges to governance, I think, that are brought about by digital technology in particular, but to some extent all technologies now, and conclude with one point which for governance system design, which really is balance. So of the two challenges, I think that speed and complexity of contemporary technology are complicating the task of governance, and in particular, the life of our traditional institutions for governance, which were really developed in the industrial age, as I think we're all very much aware. We know that the pace of innovation is very much quickening, and we know that from our daily lives. We don't really have a good measure of it. However, I go back to Sherlock Holmes and Arthur Conan Doyle, who wrote in the 19th century, in 1885, that knowledge begets knowledge as money bears interest. And so just as we have compound interest, we have compound knowledge, I think. And we see that in many examples and many indicators. One is the number of patent applications filed globally, which only 30 years ago was around 1 million. And in 2023, almost 30 years later, 3.5 million. So a 3.5-fold increase. And just like the innovation, the invention of new things, their deployment socially is speeding up at a great speed. Netflix, for example, it took Netflix 3.5 years to reach 1 million users in 1999. It took Facebook 13 months to reach 1 million users in 2004, and it took ChatGPT 3 days to reach 1 million users in 2022. Now, at the same time as we have this great speed occurring, we also have complexity. And artificial intelligence, of course, quantum computing, 5G, 6G, nanotechnology, bioengineering, bioinformatics are only some of the very, very sophisticated fields of technology that are moving at this greater speed. So these twin I think challenges of speed and complexity are really major governance challenges for us. One challenge is the growing lag between the appearance and adoption of new technologies and the legislative or parliamentary or government response. And by definition, I think we know that radical new technologies don't have a specific regulatory framework because they're new. And so it may be that some existing laws do apply. We know we have protection of minors, defamation, privacy, personal information protection, and so on. But there may also be voids or an inadequate fit. And in these circumstances, our only guide is really ethics, the values of society. And that's one of the reasons why I think we're hearing so much about ethics these days, because there is no hard law yet. And so we fill the gap by reference to the traditional values of society. And there's a lot of consideration, as you know, in all of the countries of the world about what's the ethically right thing to do about AI or whatever the new technology may be. And complexity compounds this problem because legislators, parliamentarians, Congress persons are usually generalists. And so they have to rely upon specialists and the scientists, really. And we see that happening, for example, if you take the area of hereditary genome editing, it's the scientists who are leading the way rather than the congresses and parliaments, because they're the ones who have the knowledge. So the knowledge base is increasingly outside of government. Now, of course, regulation is not the only form of governance, and we see that, you know, there are strategies that form part of the governance or of particular technologies. There is industrial policy. And the field of AI is another good example, because if you look at the case of the law passed on AI by the Diet in Japan in the last month or two, it has really no rules. It's all about promotion of AI and the competitiveness of Japanese industry. I'm not criticizing that necessarily, but it is not a regulatory approach in the way we see it. Now, what I think is interesting about it is that, of course, regulation and the establishment of strategies, you know, or policies, industrial policy, they're not incompatible. However, in this world, when we're all pressed for time and there are so many issues, you know, the preoccupation of attention may go with one side and not the other. So in my view, there has been quite a preoccupation in Europe over the AI Act, and that has occupied much of the space, perhaps to the detriment of attention to strategy and industrial policy. But I just cited the example of Japan, where you have the opposite, really. It is an emphasis on industrial policy and strategy as opposed to perhaps the regulatory side. And the reason for this is quite simple, I think. It's that governments don't want to disadvantage their own economic actors. They don't want to take a step which will put their economic actors and companies at a disadvantage from a regulatory point of view compared to other governments. This is the classic case for international, of course, intervention when you get a situation like this. And I'm perhaps running out of time, so I should be very quick. I have two more points, if I may, quickly. I think the one example is in my particular area, which is the training of AI models on copyrighted data and whether this is lawful or not. It's a big issue all around the world, as we all know. And we've seen, you know, a lot of action on this, but it has really divided the tech community on the one hand from the cultural community on the other hand. It's quite a bitter division. We saw that play out, for example, in the United Kingdom, where they came down, the government came down on the side of the tech community, again for the reason of not disadvantaging their own economic actors, even though the UK has an extraordinarily strong cultural industry. But this is playing out in all countries. It's not just the UK. So in my very last point is, and by the way, on that particular point, there are 46 lawsuits in the United States of America over this question, including all the content industries, and then on one side and the tech operators on the other side. So my last point would be that as we go forward with governance, I think it's going to be very important to find the appropriate balance between, on the one hand, the interests of innovation and making sure that we do get new technologies that can be extremely useful and beneficial for society and in facing all of our challenges. But on the other hand, not to ignore some of the traditional values of society, such as culture and cultural creation in the particular example that I cited. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Glory, for sharing your wonderful insights on technology governance challenges. Next, let's invite Ms. Thomas Basiclo, Program Coordinator of the ITU Telecom Communication Standardization Bureau, to give a speech. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. First of all, I would like to give appreciation to the Chinese Academy of Cyberspace Studies for organizing this interesting session. We really appreciate your organization, as well as to WSIS for providing the forum. In my case, I would like to dwell on one area, which is AI, which is something that is at my heart. I do work at ITU in the AI for Good team, so we're just having an event next door. So that's why I would like to dwell on this topic, because I think it's relevant to the discussion today. And the theme on applications and challenges of emerging technologies, first I would like to highlight the applications. Of course, yesterday we had the Governance Day, which highlighted on not only the positive aspects. We know that AI is a double-edged sword, which can be used for good, but also in other cases, unfortunately, can be used in bad instances. But we do know that emerging technologies, in this case, are really good to shape an inclusive digital future. And for me, in my role being part of ITU, I've seen firsthand how the advancement of digital technologies can help to bring positive change. And in this case, in terms of digital technologies, over the past few years, I would say, in terms of AI, we have seen that there is a digital revolution being brought by these technologies. So we have seen advancements in AI, machine learning, but also other technologies in general. I think over the past 5 years, we've seen how blockchain, metaverse, augmented reality, they are also shaping our society. So these emerging technologies, they are redefining how we communicate, how we work, and also how we solve global challenges. And in our case, the innovations, they hold a great promise to build a robust information society. And we would like to have a society, one that is inclusive, that is sustainable, but also that is resilient. We don't want to have a society that continue to bring the digital device or to increase the device. And we see that, of course, with great potential in terms of these technologies, there is also significant responsibility that we need to bear as a society. And the journey to harness these technologies so that it can benefit everyone is not without obstacles. And it is through strengthened digital governance, international cooperation, we can overcome these challenges. And one of the most inspiring examples that we are working on, I would highlight different examples from the AI for Good team. And this global platform is bringing together experts from different fields to develop AI solutions that can address the pressing society challenges. These are from different sectors, from different domains such as healthcare, education, to climate action and disaster response. And AI for Good, at the moment, I would say it's not just a forum for discussion, it is a catalyst for action. And through the different projects under the AI for Good, we are turning innovative ideas into real-world impact. And one important aspect is we have a project called Innovate for Impact, which supports experts and scholars from around the world, especially in developing countries, to develop AI-driven solutions that are tailored to local needs. So by focusing on these real-world problems, but also fostering cross-sector collaboration, this is one of the examples that is demonstrating how technology can be harnessed to bridge the gaps, but also build an inclusive society. And to complement these efforts, we also have another project, which is Innovation Factory. And this project is basically to nurture local talent and technology entrepreneurship so that we can accelerate development of digital solutions. So by providing mentorship, providing resources, provide incubation, and a platform of digital solutions. So we do help the innovators to turn their ideas into scalable and impactful products and services. And if you go to the exhibition space, you'd find several interesting projects from the Innovate for Impact, showcasing their solutions, exhibiting their solutions that are driving change in society, from climate change to healthcare to education and natural disaster management, or you can see there that are part of the Innovation Factory. So this not only drives economic growth, but also it strengthens the digital ecosystem from the grassroots. So it's not only projects from the developing country, but from the developed world, but also from developing countries. So we try to make sure that we drive positive change in the developing world as well. And of course, technology alone is not enough. We also want to build inclusive information society. We must invest in people. So talent is another important aspect. And with this, we focus mainly on the youth because we know that the youth are the future, are the next generation that is going to build our ecosystem, technology ecosystem. So we have different projects. We have the AI Skills Coalition. We have the ITU AI Machine Learning competitions. And these have emerged to be powerful tool for youth engagement and capacity development because we are providing real-world problems that students can solve. So it complements their academic theoretical studies in classroom with real-world data that they can use to complement and solve real-world problems, but also they are contributing to the advancement of technology. So these competitions, they provide young innovators in developing countries with the skills, the mentorship, and global exposure they need to succeed. So by tackling real-world challenges, the participants also gain on hands-on experience to become active contributors on the digital revolution. And of course, to support these initiatives, these projects, we also have a project called AI Readiness, which plays a big role in helping countries, not only countries, but also domains to prepare for the digital age. And the project provide policymakers with the tools and frameworks they need to develop inclusive digital policies, but also infrastructure. And by focusing on readiness, we ensure that no one is left behind in the digital transformation. But of course, we have these successful projects, but it comes at a cost. We have also significant challenges that still remain. The rapid pace of technology we can see can outstrip governance frameworks. So there has been discussion on how much can we bring our regulation. Is regulation stifling innovation? You know, we have all these issues that we still need to come together to discuss and find solutions. And marginalized communities, particularly in rural and low-income areas, they risk being excluded to benefit from the digital innovation. And of course, the environmental impact cannot go unnoticed because these technologies, for example, AI, if you are talking about AI, of course, we have to make sure that we separate. We have the machine learning, natural language processing, deep learning, and then we have large language models. So in the case of generative AI foundation models or large language models, we have seen that there's issues with energy consumption. But technology on its own, we have issues in terms of e-waste. So we need to focus on these issues as well. We just don't want to talk about the positive aspects, but also we need to include the negative aspects. And at ITU, we are committed to advance sustainability initiatives through different collaborative projects. We have the Green Digital Action, which promote responsible digital transformation. We have Study Group 5, which develop international standards in environment, e-waste, and of course, emissions. Looking ahead, I believe that the path to inclusive digital future lies on collaboration. So we need to make sure that we are collaborating, we are working together with different stakeholders. And by strengthening digital governance and international collaboration, we can ensure that emerging technology serve the common good. And at ITU, together with partners, we remain dedicated to build a world where digital opportunities are accessible to all and where innovation is guided by principles of equity, accountability, and sustainability. So at this point, I would like to thank you all for your commitment to shape a better digital future. And I hope together we can build an information society that leaves no one behind. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Bascolo, for your sharing on the latest update of ITU and AI for good in promoting the application and the digital technologies. Now, let's welcome Mr. Huang Yuhong, General Manager of China Mobile Research Institute to give a speech. Welcome.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I'm Huang Yuhong from China Mobile Research Institute. I'm very glad to join this forum to share with you about China Mobile's practice in advancing the development of the latest ICT AI technology to build an inclusive digital future. Here I have a slide. As we all know that the latest ICT technology like 5G, AI is shaping the global social economic landscape, influence a lot our daily life, the manufacturing, the governments to make it more convenient, efficient, and productive. To make it happen, we think the AICT, I call it, is AI integrated with the communication and the IT technology infrastructure. We think a telecom operator should play an important role to build a strong and ubiquitous advanced infrastructure to enable the AICT development. So share about China Mobile's practice. For the information infrastructure, China Mobile have built the world's largest network. For the mobile, we have, for 5G, we already built 2.5 million base stations, which account for 1/3 of the total number of the global 5G base station. And we also built the largest IPv6 barrier network and built the world first 40 gigabits optical network. As for the AI computing capability, we built important and the largest, very powerful computility infrastructure. We have already have 43 EFLOPS computing capacity. And we connected all the IDCs to providing cloud edge terminal computing power collaboration. As for the AI engine, China Mobile also developed our in-house AI-powered enable engine. We built our multi-mode large models, AI models, support large language model and also a vision model, speech model, data model, which can be used in different scenarios. And importantly, we think we need to make our infrastructure, 5G AI capability to empower the industry's transformation to digital intelligence. So actually, we have already developed more than 50,000 5G user case to enhance the vertical industry, like tourist, healthcare, manufacturing, power grid, smart city, education, etc. Just the gentleman from ITU just mentioned AI consume a lot of energy, but we think AI can also help the energy industry to save the energy. So we think it's very important to use this technology to bring the green development. And for our daily life, China Mobile also worked with our partner to empower our smart digital life. For example, we developed 5G new calling capability. That is, when we doing a phone call, we can, for example, in the caller in different country, you can experience the simultaneous translation. And so it's very important and a very good service to our customer. We also developed our AI agent called Lingxi to do our customer service. And we also actually work with our partner to provide, we call it new 3 products for our customer. Before in China, every family need 3 important things. That is TV, refrigerator, and the washing machine. Now we think the new product is also very important for consumer service. That is AI embedded device, the intelligent electronic vehicle, and robots. So we worked with our partner to develop those kind of products to serve our customer. With the very promising development, we still see there's a challenge. Here, I'd like to share that China Mobile work together with Media and the GTI. We do a research to analyze we call it an index. We call it Mobile Intelligence Integration Index. This MI3 is to evaluate the level of the global mobile intelligence integrated development and offer reference and guidance to the relevant stakeholders. With this research, we found that the global, there is an even development for the digital infrastructure. So that is a global digital infrastructure gap. And we also noticed there's insufficient integration of the AICT's capability with vertical industry. The traditional vertical industry lack of the capability to integrate with the latest technology. And the third one we think is shortage of the AI talents. To tackle those challenge, we think a global cooperation, open and global cooperation is very important. So China Mobile actually participant in global organizations like ITU. We participant the activities in ITU for AI for Good. We contribute our best practice to sharing our 5G AI user case. And we also participate in GSMA together with telecom operator to promote the telecom agentic AI. And also for the GTI, actually China Mobile is the founder of GTI, which is also a global cooperation platform. We developed a program named 5G times AI to promote the global cooperation for the technology innovation, the product innovation, and the service innovation for 5G times AI. We already developed many user cases and set up labs for the collaborative cooperation. And we also set up an international partnership. For example, we have a joint AI education initiative under China-Pakistan Economic Corridor Framework to help to have more AI talent. We also set up a joint lab with Cinemas Group that is in Indonesia to promote the AI service. So that's we just share some practice of our China Mobile's promoting the latest technology and promoting the global cooperation to tackle the challenge. So I believe with the collaborative attitude from the whole ecosystem, we can tackle the challenge and bring a bright future. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Huang. Your unique perspective from an enterprise offers a vivid example of how the new generation of ICT can empower our life and product. Now let's move to the second topic: global digital governance mechanism and international cooperation. It's our pleasure to invite Professor Gong Ke, Executive Director of Chinese Institute of the New Generation Artificial Intelligence Development Strategy, former President of World Federal of Engineering Organization, to share his insight. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Chair. Very good morning to all of you. Let's, on my behalf of the Special Task Force for Engineering Capacity Building for Africa program, to give you a concrete, tangible example on the international collaboration for the AI capacity building. So just 1 year ago in New York, the United Nations General Assembly has adopted a very, very important resolution, which is titled Enhancing the International Collaboration on Capacity Building of Artificial Intelligence. And later, in the Global Compact of Global Digital Compact, the GDC, the capacity building also stressed. But why the capacity building is so important? Because the AI capacity gap is a fundamental driver for the disparities in AI development and subsequently the AI-driven social economical development. So that's a very important reason, factor behind the gap. And with the rapid advancement of the AI, the race between capacity building and the technology advancement is became fatal importance. So our program is a so-called digital plus engineering program. We leveraging digital technology to plus various engineering profession practices. And we also try to embed the ethical principles into our courses so we can leverage technology for the African engineers to carry out digital transformation and in an ethical way. So the purpose is to enhance the capacity in engineering education, to enhance the capacity of continuous professional development, and to enhance the capacity of engineering transfer or digital adoption. So we are going to set up some capacity building centers in different parts of the African continent. And with this center, we mobilize the international experts, courses, tools, funds into African continent. So we have inaugurated this program early this year in Kenya. We have 50 engineers from workplaces, from the Kenya Power, Kenya Railway Station, Railway, and so on and so forth, more than 10 industrial companies. And they brought their own data by using the big fundamental model and to treat those data to make some predictions. So 5 full-day program attracted a lot of interest of engineers. And these are their feedbacks. So eye-opening, enlightening, engaging, exciting, and so on and so forth. What is we learned from the success of the inauguration, we call it the pilot training, is that first, there's a really the local need based. So we call for participation, and they pay their fees to attend these courses. And also, they're organized based, they're locally organized. We work closely with the Institute of Engineers of Kenya together. They gathered this workshop, and we got support from industry, from academia, from the universities, and also we got support from international organizations. We used, we leveraged the convening power of UNESCO to do this. And also we worked with United Nations University. They are going to certificate our courses. So that's a real application example for the international collaboration on engineering capacity building. So I just stop here. We look forward to working with all of you together to strengthen this effort to make this a great success for Africa and for the whole world. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Professor Gong. Now, next, let's welcome Mr. Torbjørn Fredriksen, Head of the E-Commercial and Digital Economy for a branch at the UN Trade and Development. Welcome.
Thank you very much. In the interest of time, I think I will skip my prepared presentation and just make some reflections. I very much like the comments by Dr. Guri about speed and complexity. This speed, we can also get carried away by all these new things that are happening. And from our perspective, from the UN Conference on Trade and Development, our main concern is that we don't lose track of those that are not at the frontier. It's very much as was stressed, there's a high level of concentration. Where is this most exciting things happening? And it's not in Europe. Let's say it's in China and the US. And because of the speed and the complexity of what we're seeing now, it's also a tremendous challenge for governments in every country, I would say, to really keep track of what should we look at and what should we look at. Just to illustrate this complexity issue, we have recently presented our digital economy report where we looked at the interface between digitalization and environmental sustainability. And if you look at just a simple thing, you would think, as a phone. When we produced phones in the 60s, that lasted for many decades, of course, you needed 10 different elements from the periodic table, 10. By the first mobile phones at 1990, we used 27 elements. And in the smartphones that we are using today, you're all sitting with it, it takes 63 elements from the periodic table. That's more than half of all the components and elements that exist in the world for one smartphone. That just shows the complexity. And also the artificial intelligence here. It is now anticipated that the energy consumption of data centers linked to AI development, especially the generative types of AI, will consume more electricity in the US than all the energy-intensive other industries taken together, like cement, steel, and so on and so forth. The challenge is, what do we do about that? Because as this is happening, we have a very strong tendency of looking at the potential opportunities that all these AI, blockchain, and other technologies can bring. How do we give equal attention to the potential downsides of this? So that when we finally get to come together and govern what's happening, it's not too late. Right now, we're seeing the combination of digitalization and the need to shift to more green technologies, more renewable energies, and so on and so forth, it's creating tremendous demand for certain critical minerals. So much so that it's some of these, especially the platinum group, they're expected to be 500 times more in 2060. It's a big question mark. Can we get these minerals and metals to continue this, to sustain this, without sacrificing the world? In fact, you can see a good illustration of this by looking at the interest from governments and from companies to start mining in the deep seas, because they are aware that they can't find it on the Earth's crust. And the strong interest in mining outer space. All of this creates tremendous governance challenges because it's not clearly defined who controls these parts, who will take care of the potential downside, the increasing space waste, and so on and so forth. So at this time, I will just say that the issue of governance is so important. And I strongly agree with the need for international efforts, because this is not for individual countries to manage. And the need also for having more international cooperation. I cannot help ending my remarks with a comparison here. We have 6 companies, all American, leading in terms of value in the world. These 6 companies, they are worth almost $17 trillion. Trillion dollars in market capitalization value. Let's compare that. That's 6 times more than the total value of the African continent's GDP. And it is 57 times more than all the official development assistance by all the OECD countries. Surely we must be able to secure more funding to create an inclusive digital economy, to help those countries that are lagging behind, to build the capabilities, the infrastructure, and the governance that is needed to make it a good world. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. for the direction. Now let's invite Professor Wolfgang Kotter-Waldter, Professor Emeritus for University of Aarhus, Denmark. Welcome.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much. So I see we're running out of time, and so I will be very brief. Thank you for the invitation. And, my presentation fits directly to what Torbjörn has just said, because as an academic person, we are dealing with definitions. And so this leads to the definition, what we understand under digital governance in the digital future. So we will see, we have now a confusing number of different terminologies. We are speaking about artificial governance. I was in a workshop the day before yesterday on quantum governance. So I was involved 20 years ago. This is a WSIS Plus 20 event here when we defined internet governance. So, and I think we should clarify what is our understanding of governance in the digital age, and why we will see a proliferation of terminologies like digital cyber governance, data governance. We have now a working group on data governance in the UNCSTD. We should remember the basics. I was a member of this United Nations Working Group on Internet Governance, which had a mandate from the Secretary General of the United Nations, Kofi Annan, 20 years ago, to define Internet governance. And we had a difficult time to agree on a narrow definition or a broad definition. We decided in favor of a broad definition, which was then adopted by the 193 member states in the Tunis Summit on the World Information Society. And this broad definition has 3 elements, which in my eyes are very relevant for all forms of governance in the digital age, including AI governance, digital governance, quantum governance, cyber governance, or data governance. So the first element is that it says, if you come to governance mechanism, you have to involve all stakeholders. So the multi-stakeholder approach is important. The second element was, internet governance has to be based on shared principle norms, programs and decision-making procedures. So that is the collaborative approach. You have to work together and to share. I think this is the sharing and the collaborative approach. And the third element was we referred to the evolution and the use of the internet. That is the technical and the application layer. We all know the internet is a layered system. And so what you need is to have a holistic approach, which includes not only the technical aspects, but also the policy applications, in particular consequences for internet-related public policy issues. So, and I think these three elements, the multi-stakeholder approach, the collaborative approach, and the holistic approach is very relevant for digital governance, for AI governance, and other forms of governance in the digital age. To clarify this issue is important if we move to regulation. I will not go deeper in the challenges which are coming with regulation, because in particular in the field of AI, we see also, a huge debate, how far we should go with regulation. One speaker has mentioned the conflict between regulation and innovation, how we can settle this. So my recommendation also for the new AI bodies in the context of the United Nations, the AI panel and the AI dialogue, is not to look for a legally binding instrument on the global level, but for something like an AI declaration, which could be adopted in 2027, when the first GDC review and the IGF review is on the table. So legally binding instruments are probably good for the local level and the regional level, as we have seen in the European context, or in the Council of Europe context, we have also a legally binding document. But on the UN level, it's probably better to work towards political frameworks, as we have from the UNESCO, the AI recommendation on ethics. And if the United Nations want to do something, then probably a general declaration, universal declaration on AI, which is based on the OECD principles from 2019, could be a step forward. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Professor Kola-Wurtz. Now, let's invite Professor Luca Bolli, Director of the CyberBRICS project at Fidaco de Tulio, Vegas, Brazil, to share his insights via video.
Good morning, and thank you very much for having invited me to this session on strengthening digital governance and international cooperation to build an inclusive digital future. I think this is an excellent topic, a very timely topic. I would like to salute the initiative of the Chinese Academy for Cyberspace Studies for organizing this session. My name is Luca Belli. I'm professor here at FGV Law School, where I direct the Center for Technology and Society and also the CyberBRICS project that has been mapping the digital policies of the BRICS grouping, so Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and then the 6th new grouping, Ethiopia, Egypt, Iran, Indonesia, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates, and how this grouping has facilitated what in internet governance vernacular we can call enhanced cooperation to solve digital matters, right? So I think that over the past 10 years, especially, we have seen the BRICS playing a very important role as a club governance mechanism that facilitates cooperation amongst member states, and also recently, together also with the associate countries, the partner countries, an increasing number of these countries coming from the global south. And I think that it is really interesting to pay attention to BRICS dynamic, precisely because this is the only club governance mechanism that facilitates interaction amongst global south leaders, and with the aim to then create policy suggestion and articulate support for those policy suggestions to propose them at the international level, especially at the UN level, being the UN the only organization that is recognized as the appropriate venue, the appropriate fora to discuss international digital policies and have them then implemented into concrete output. And let me give you a very interesting example. A case in point of this cooperation is the very recent adoption of the Convention Against Cybercrime, which has been lobbied intensely by several BRICS members, brokered also with the very important help of Brazilian diplomacy that played a key role into this. And the result has been the adoption of the first global treaty on digital matters, quintessentially lobbied for and created by global South leaders. Now, of course, as any treaty, this can be criticized, but it is a very interesting example of why paying attention to BRICS dynamics it's very important. It has become actually key in internet policy and digital policy matters. A very interesting evolution that also has been witnessed by our research on data governance and cybersecurity has been also the recent commitment since the Kazan Declaration in 2024 to create a global data framework that facilitates legal interoperability amongst different policy frameworks that are already existing at the national level in the BRICS group. So these are only a few examples of how the BRICS can play a very important role, is already playing actually a very important role in facilitating dialogue, in also creating a sort of policy incubator where then solutions that are conceived in the global South by global majority leaders can then be brought at the international level and adopted. And I think that a very important way also to witness this is the choice of the Brazilian presidency of the BRICS grouping that has chosen for 2025, the year of the presidency, the theme is strengthening global South cooperation for more inclusive and sustainable governance. And this really witness the intention of the grouping, and especially this year under the Brazilian chairmanship, to intensely lobby for a more inclusive and sustainable governance, including in regard to digital matters. Thank you very much for having me, and I wish you an excellent conference. Bye-bye.
Thanks for Barry. Time fly. That's we have to end the forum. Thanks. End the forum. Thank all judges and the colleges for their wisdom and efforts contribute to this forum. We need to appreciate for a VCs plus 20 high level event secretaries for providing us with a great platform for exchanges. Thank you for your participation. That's end. Thank you.